Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with, yes, we've all been waiting for it. Well, some people were anyway. Yunchan Lim's Bach Goldberg variations live from Carnegie Hall. Well, it's very good. It's not great, but it's very good. And I think we could talk about exactly why and how. But first, I think we are due for a little summary of Mr. Lim, having reached this milestone in his already very young but illustrious career. Going back through his Decca discography so far, I was shocked to discover that I've been listening to him now for about 3 years, which is kind of amazing. You know, he's done the Liszt Transcendental Variations. That was on Steinway, and then he jumped to Decca. But he has the Chopin Etudes and Tchaikovsky's The Seasons, the Rachmaninoff Third Concerto, this thing, and then there's like a bunch of earlier recordings on various labels and stuff. So he's kind of a known commodity. But it seems to me that the career path of a young virtuoso is now pretty well marked out in the modern world, isn't it? You have to do the obligatory virtuoso stuff, that is the Chopin and the Liszt, and you got to do a Rachmaninoff concerto, and then you have to do a disc of less commonly played repertoire, just to show that you're not trapped in the usual same old, like the Chopin Etudes and the Rachmaninoff Third Piano Concerto, and then just to prove that you can be profound and sublime and all that stuff, you do Bach, and that proves that. I guess. I don't know. I've already seen comments from people saying that they've heard this and it was the most transfiguring experience of their lives. And I actually have an explanation for that phenomenon. The explanation is that people finally listen. The Goldberg variations will always be a transfiguring experience and a spiritual journey and all of that stuff if you pay attention to it, because that's what it is. I mean, Lim plays it with all the repeats. It lasts 77 minutes. The only repeats he doesn't take are for the aria da capo at the very end. And it's if you lose yourself in anything for 77 minutes, it's going to be a pretty spiritual and transfiguring experience. And it really doesn't matter what it is or who it is or what they're doing. I mean, 77 minutes is as long as a Mahler symphony. And for anybody to sit down at the keyboard and whip through it live is a marathon. And for an audience to sit there and listen with concentration to a performance that long is a marathon, and chances are you will reward yourself. Your endorphins will release for having invested that much time and effort, assuming that you have an open mind and are willing to take it all in. Chances are you're going to find it a transfiguring and spiritual experience. I think that's just human psychology. I don't think that has much of anything to do with the actual quality of the performance, because these days, no one is going to play a bad Goldberg variations. I mean, I was thinking to myself, I actually was listening in comparison to this, Wilhelm Kempf's Goldberg variations, which I just adore because, it doesn't have any ornamentation and it's played as if it's a plain piano work. Not plain in the sense of the performance, but that, with all the resources of the piano, never mind when Bach wrote it, never mind what it is, for me, it has a timeless quality that is absolutely extraordinary and that's worn very, very well, actually. I think that's a glorious recording of the Goldberg variations. And then to hear this in comparison, well, maybe I can be forgiven for thinking that it's just a touch generic. We have such a firm view these days of what true Baroque style is. For example, Lim ornaments the repeats sensitively. He doesn't do anything bizarre. You kind of wish he would, instead of just, the first variation is da 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 ba da 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 da. So he'll add a mordant or a turn on the repeat. Yeah, but ba da 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 or something like that. Is it enough to really enrich our understanding of what the repeat is or what the music does? No. It's just sort of it's a decorative doodad that makes it a little different the second time around. It's tasteful, but it's not extraordinary, not by any stretch of the imagination. And as far as this performance goes, well, it's live. And the first 8 or 9 variations, he just tears through. He just blasts through them with, I think, an unfortunate uniformity of tempo and articulation. I mean, it's bold. It's in your face. It's exciting. It's an adventure. It's all of those things. You know, you get that sense of it. But it also starts to become a touch mechanical, maybe a little monotonous. I don't think he differentiates, for example, the canons from the other variations. You know, you can do things to try and create more variety from one variation to the next than he does. But finally, you know, when he gets to the 14th variation, you know, that's that really fast one. I love that variation. I really do. I like it even better on a harpsichord than on a piano, quite frankly, because it just sounds better with the trills and the bass line is clearer and all that. And again, he just blasts through it. It's exciting. It's virtuoso, but it doesn't tell us very much about the music. Then all of a sudden we get to, what is it, the 15th variation, the canon at the 5th, which is Andante. It's slow. And he takes it slow. And we get 5 minutes of slow music. And boy, is it a relief to get there. It's beautifully done, by the way. It's beautifully played. And then the French overture pops in. And the second half of the piece, I think, is much more successful than the first half, because he just seems to settle down. And the variations have more character and color than the first part. So that's all to the good. But, you know, taking all the repeats in the big, long last, what is it, 25, the 25th variation, isn't it? My God, the Adagio, it's 8 and some odd minutes. It's very slow. It's not slower than other people have done it. Because I know if I say it's very slow, all you guys are going to say, well, so-and-so takes 8 minutes and 50 seconds, and this one takes 9 minutes and 27 seconds. And no, that's not the point. The point is within the context of the performance as a whole, it sounds really, really slow, because the performance as a whole is pretty bold, and the impression you get of it is that it's kind of zippy. Although when you realize it takes 77 minutes, you think, well, maybe it wasn't so zippy after all. I think a lot of it has to do with his articulation, his in-your-face presentation of the melodic lines, where one is clearly predominant. And, you know, it's good. It's well done. The quodlibet is lovely. When the aria returns at the very end, it's slower and softer and more wistful and a little nostalgic. It's charming. It's well done. It's an intelligent way to do it. So it's an enjoyable Goldberg variations. Is it the most distinctive? No. Is it the most well thought out? Well, I can imagine a more imaginative treatment of groupings and contrast between the various variations. He's done his Bach thing. So now he's a certified profound pianist, or something like that. I still think his greatest recording is the Liszt Transcendental Variations. I really do, because that's music that's harder to, I mean, you could whip it off, but it's more difficult to make it sound like great music, and he does that, which is a remarkable achievement. Bach has the greatness built in. You know, you just play it and you get credit for being spiritual and profound and sublime and all that stuff. He's not going to add to it. What do any of us really have to add to Bach? I mean, frankly. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. It's very good in spots. It's less good in others. And we still don't know very much about Mr. Lim, do we? We have to see how he develops and what he starts to do beyond just checking all the virtuoso boxes that you do at the beginning of your career. It's how it develops that's going to matter. So if you want to hear this, you'll enjoy it, I'm sure. If you don't want to hear it, you're not missing much. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.